told you to meet me at the hotel.
We are the Cult Lords.
Welcome back in, Cult Lords fans. We are here to lay some bricks. It's better than laying some pipe.
Yeah.
We are here to do a movie review, The Bricklayer,
Yes.
starring Aaron Eckhart and Nina Dobrev. Yes. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe, hit like, and then tell us down in the comments, did you like this movie, The Bricklayer?
Yes.
You're about to find out if we like this movie, because we're about to give our scores here. But we'd like to hear what you think as well.
Industry setting scores, we should say.
Now, if you're new to the channel, then you don't know we like to have a drink or a cocktail. Been doing it for 15 years now, before we see a movie or talk about a movie, before we ever started this channel. So, Dane, what are we drinking this week?
Look at this perfect thematic beverage. I'm going to lay some bricks down here. Hold on, let me get this out.
You got your trusty trowel,
My trusty trowel.
which you spent $7 on just for this video.
Listen to that ting.
That's a ting, all right.
So this baby is a tequila. And it is, what was cool about this, if you can kind of see it here in the front, it just sits right there like it's a brick.
Oh.
Perfectly set. But it is a silver 100% agave, triple distilled, and they do some special in between number 2 and 3 where they let it sit for an extended period of time, which lets it absorb more of the juicy flavors. So, there we go.
Okay. I'll take mine on some rocks here. A little ice.
I'm going straight, baby.
Ooh, that is very pungent.
Definitely smells like a tequila. But Corzo, this one, they have like a Reposado and an Año and this one, but this is just the tequila silver. The other one is, on this one, exceptionally elegant and flavor-filled with notes of citrus and vanilla. Sipping or sophisticated. But cool bottle, you know. It's
40%
nice.
alcohol.
40% alcohol. Oh, wow. Feel how heavy that top is.
Yeah.
So cool that it sits sideways like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe it's
Put
like
it on
for
your
a pour.
trowel, get it ready for some brickland.
Yeah.
But cheers! Yeah, it's tasty.
It's all right.
It needs to be with something.
I'm not a tequila guy, really.
Well, I know. It's hard to take this kind of stuff straight, but
I'm more of a bourbon guy, you know, something like that.
whiskey, bourbon.
All right.
Well, they didn't make any bourbons in brick form, so...
Okay. All right.
Do this. What are we up to next now?
Before we get to this, if you have not seen The Bricklayer, we have a warning for you. Spoiler alert! We're about to have spoilers. Talk about this movie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want that spoiled for you, hit pause. Go lay some brick. Watch The Bricklayer. Come back. It's on Netflix, right?
Yes.
Netflix. It's streaming on Netflix now. So you can go watch it. Come back. Let us know what you thought of it and see our review.
And the Blu-ray here, courtesy of JR.
Yeah.
How long has this been out for?
Couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Handsome himself, Aaron, the etched Aaron Eckhart.
Little two-faced, if you ask me, though.
Yeah, so he's two-faced?
Little two-faced.
That's funny. Because I don't know what's going to happen to you either.
But
He's done a lot of things, Aaron Brockovich and everything. But did you know he was Mormon, by the way?
Battle for L.A.
I did not know he was Mormon.
Oh.
So he's
I
He went to
noticed,
Brigham Young, and that's where he got his acting chops.
I noticed he wasn't drinking any soda in this movie. I noticed that.
Did you really notice that? 'Cause-
No.
No, well, to your point, I was like, you're right. Did he ever drink it? They kept, remember, there was a lot of the scenes where Ty, kept giving him stuff, and then
Yeah.
he was like never drinking
Yeah.
it. He was putting it down. Although they did imply in one scene, they finished it, and then he was sleeping on the couch the next morning.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, before we give our scores and tell you what we think, we always like to get our pulse on the general population, the Gen Pop, if you will.
The rest of the construction crew.
What do you think the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, Dane, have given the Bricklayer?
Oh, man. I think this is another one of those eviscerations.
Okay.
I'm going low, like 49, 48,
49.
something in there, yes.
We'll go with your first one, 49.
All right.
And then what do you think the audience gave this one?
74.
75.
I was,
You were going to say 75 and you went back
it's up
down.
to your interpretation.
Yeah.
I could always claim he was wrong. you
Yeah,
see.
74. So 49 and 74.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Dane, the critics gave this a 48.
Whoa! I was even not low enough.
Yeah.
What did I say? I said
49.
49.
You wanted
Oh
to go
my
to 48, but we
God.
stuck with 49.
48.
Yeah. But, you know.
I said that. Hey.
What did you say the audience gave it?
75, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it's 75.
74.
75,
74-ish.
yeah.
Yes.
The audience has given this a 28%.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, this is the rarest I've ever seen this happen. The
Yeah.
audience was so low
Yeah.
and below the critics. Wow.
Yeah.
So the critics are the one that saved this movie.
All right. Let me just put this
So we should say, it's excellent the way it started. I mean, it seemed like it was going to cruise along for a while there. You got Aaron Eckhart, this hard-seasoned construction worker that you
Yes.
later find out is he's really precise with the way he lays his bricks down and everything. And then he gets called back into the CIA chief who says, we need to pull you back because you messed up and then needed to...
Well, we'll talk about that after we give them our scores.
That's true. We got
right.
those two.
So let's reveal the Cult Lords straight in from our accounting firm where they keep the books behind the bricks. It's Deloitte and Douche. Oof. Okay. On the count of three, Dane. 1, 2, 3. Needs a cask of Amontillado.
Amontillado.
6.3.
That's not the only bricks being laid. 6.4. Do you understand what I'm referencing here?
I don't know what Amontillado is.
Oh, that's Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, okay.
That's one of his stories, The Cask of Amontillado.
Okay. Wow, that's a very, very succinct reference.
I thought you being an Edgar Allan Poe.
I love Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, was that the cement one?
Is that the one where he could hear the beating heart behind the wall?
No, this is the one where the guy tricks the other guy and could come over to his house to have a high-end Italian wine, and then he chains him to the wall and then bricks him in and leaves him there for 50 years.
I don't know if I've read that one, so okay.
What do they call it? Immuneration? Enumeration is when you actually kill somebody by bricking them up into a wall.
There's a term for that?
There is an actual formal term for that. Other ones have been, so forms of that is like somebody gets put in a coffin and then they get, but it's not buried alive because they die from asphyxiation because that doesn't count. It has to be that they're actually bricked into a wall.
So they die of starvation.
Or dehydration.
Okay.
And there's been examples through time where people have done that and then they kept feeding them, so they were in that for like super long time. So,
all right.
Form of punishment.
Your lover, Barin, is harboring Gordon in Aboria, is he not?
No!
This lying is such a waste of time.
You left with a pilot and returned alone. Wasn't he Gordon in disguise? No!
Here's what it all boils down to me. Number 1, wasn't very original. But number 2, you got great actors. Like, what's the actor there that played the boss who's in We're Out? Oh, Brother,
The
We're Out,
O'Malley
though?
guy? Yeah, I know. That actor is in a lot of
His
stuff.
name,
I didn't know his actor.
is Tim Blake Nelson. He played CIA. So he's been in a lot of things, and he's a
Character
good
actor. He's the
But he's a good actor.
Yep.
I've seen Clifton Collins before. He can be a good actor. I don't really know if Nina Dobrev can be a great actor.
She's done a lot of like, she was like in the Vampire Diaries when she
Yeah.
was really young. And then
Yeah.
the last movie she actually did was Love Hard.
Okay.
That was it. Love
But
on Netflix.
But Aaron Eckhart is definitely a class tier 1 actor, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be a typical lead, but they're trying to make him into a lead. And
Right.
But the acting was so bad. You know where you remember the scene where he walks into the restaurant and he's going to get some eggs, and then Nina Dobrev and CIA Director O'Malley, they're already sitting in a booth, and they call him over, and he walks over. Just rewatch that scene at how bad the acting is.
You'll have the number 5 with provolone and some of that fancy aioli. But hold the peppers. Aggravates his indigestion.
What do you want?
Can an old friend stop by to say hello?
Is that what we are?
Oh, yeah.
It is so bad.
And so, I mean, a lot of this, so I think this is a failure at multiple levels. So it was based on a book. Mm-hmm. And a book has people can write a book that can describe action, but it's not, it's all in your imagination. And then what ended up happening is somebody like translated the book literally, as opposed to converting it more into a screenplay format. And then the director, Rennie Harlan, it was like, this guy's done a crap load
I was
of
going to
things.
say, this is not his first rodeo.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
he should have, it's on him. He should have corrected all of this
Yes.
in some form or another. And he just, and a lot of times, didn't you feel like you were watching like a cartoon had been translated into a movie? Like I felt like
I thought,
just-
all right, look, this is not a A-list movie. Mm-hmm. This is a B movie, but it felt like a C or a D movie. It felt so bad.
Right.
And it was so stupid.
I mean, the only thing that had this going for it, acting, and then I thought the fight scenes were pretty cool.
I'm going to say, I thought the fight scenes were pretty lame.
Well, I mean, there were lame parts to it.
Yeah.
It started well,
Yeah.
and then later I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Look, there was a moment, do you remember when he walks in to that, like, club where, the bad guy was, and he had all of his henchmen?
Oh, yeah.
And the guy was behind him, and then he ends up taking all these guys out. And
Right.
some of these guys had guns, but he didn't have a gun. But he was able to, like, grab their arm. And,
Yeah, there was
like,
a lot of them
there
like
was a lot
pointing
of-
something at him, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Let me take that out of your head."
Yeah. It happened.
You
You could maybe see them getting away with that one time, but he did it like 4 or 5 times to like guys with guns. He'd grab their arm and he would like slam it on a table, and they would like lose the gun, and then he would like take the gun, and then like he would like take it out, and the bullets out, and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. This is horrible
when I
action.
saw that the first time, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, JR is gonna have fun with this movie."
This was horrible action.
The amount of like him manipulating
Yeah.
guns was
Yes.
like over the top.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like a weird sleight of hand trick he was
Yeah.
doing. Like the guy's like literally like pointing the gun right at him, and he's like, he moves and like takes the gun, and then he does it to her too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got the gun pointing right at him.
Yeah.
For all I know, you never killed him. Maybe you let him go.
Not bad at all.
I mean, I guess if your finger's not on the trigger.
And then
right?
there was just so many like stupid little moments in the movie, like where they're like, okay, you're gonna go and you're gonna take, Agent Nina Dobrev, Kate Bannon with you. She's like, what? I'm gonna have to go with him. So then they get on this like big old military plane, which is supposed to be undercover. Nobody knows about it, but
Right.
they're gonna take a military plane over there. And they get in, and it's ridiculous. And she's like, "What are you listening to?" Miles Davis, right? And then his earplug falls. I mean, that's
what I write. It was like that's the way the book was, but it was totally set up incorrectly in the play.
It just felt so manufactured.
I know.
Like getting from one place to another.
And then, of course, she listens to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't listen to music.
This is
I'm
really good.
sorry.
Yeah.
No woman has ever listened to music.
Said I don't listen.
I don't listen to music.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
What hole did you live in for the last? I mean, she's like 28 in the movie or whatever. And then, of course, he gets over there. I actually thought that scene was good, where he's like, "Well, screw this. We're going full class."
Right.
Then, of course, the dress fits perfectly.
Here.
Right.
She walks out and she's like,
they throw their little Fiat away. They get into a Mercedes.
Right.
There's no airbags, so drive safe.
No promises.
Like
custom,
yeah.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, and then they drive and like it just. But you know what? Even that was a cool scene. It's like, okay, what's the payoff for them dressing up as like man and wife and whatever? And there was like no real payoff to that. You know what I mean? They go to the hotel. He leaves her. He goes to like meet with these guys. Doesn't really take. But suddenly she shows up to help out at the end.
Get in!
She's got a bug on her.
Yeah, that's right. And he's got the car waiting for him to like, get out of there. And it just seems so. I don't know. Like, let's get from
pulpish.
Let's get from point A to point B.
Yes.
Point B to point C.
Yep.
Point C to point D. It just
Right.
did not seem organic.
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
and then all the scenes where it was like painful watching the protesters.
Yes.
I mean, it was like they all looked like professional actors, just like ho ho ho. Whatever. And then they get into a fight, and she's like, "Oh, get out of the way!" And I was like, "What the hell is this? That there's protesters fighting?" I mean, that just seemed totally, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie was ridiculous in so many levels.
It was. And then like he has to go to a meeting to meet Ty Delson, this woman, right?
Yeah, who's a former.
Right.
Well, no, she is the chief of
Right.
Italy, right? That's where they are. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
but
the
like he's got
station chief.
history with her.
Chief of station
And then,
in
but
Italy.
like I was just like wondering. Okay, if you think about it, what's the point of bringing her in to this? You know what I mean? It just didn't make sense, And
well, it does in the end.
Well, no, I mean, there's just so many like loose ends that it just seemed like it was poorly written or executed or whatever, and like nothing really seemed to have consequence. Because first of all, back to that fight again at the thing, he took out 30 guards in that club by himself.
With bottles.
And his
taking
hands.
their guns out. He never shoots anybody. In that club, he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then that leads. Go ahead, finish what you're going to say.
No, but so he gets out of there. It just felt like there was no danger for him. There was no consequence for anything.
And then the warehouse scene where she shows up with him and they're and then she's like, "There's somebody out there," and it's like literally all the 30 guys show up with like full machine guns and everything. Come on!
We have to get out of here.
And he's somehow one shot.
Right.
I mean, you would know this better than me. I mean, is that the way he's like running around like one shot? And all these guys are like, why don't you just sit up there going boo 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 and then walk up boo boo boo, and then he like throws the dynamite in there and gets his one shot up and blows the whole place up, and then of course dramatically opens up the garage to walk out the door. Yeah. And you're like, come on.
And then she's there with the car.
Yeah.
Right. When he gets out. Right. So
painful.
It was a very poor.
And the dog survived though.
Poor man's John Wick. It's just really it was not good. And the thing is this. Like we saw the trailer. We were both like, I'm intrigued. I want to see this movie. Look good. The payoff for this was not good. It was just everything was poorly executed.
I mean, he had to bring his tools, but
Right.
they forgot to bring a story.
Right.
They
Exactly.
forgot to bring a movie with the storyline.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
of course, these tools had to come out every once in a while. He's fighting that guy off, and he's got his trowel.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, right, the guy's thing.
But
and
even-
then that scene where he's at the rich guy's house,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking around trying to figure out, and he just happens to notice the one brick in the fireplace that is like right at eye level. Like,
Right.
who the hell would put it right there? Why didn't you put it down over here? And he's like, oh, let me get in there and figure it out. And they take everything out. It's like the entire, like, information cache that they've been looking for stuck in the hole of the fireplace.
And you know what?
God.
Well, the funny thing is, kind of the MacGuffin in this movie to start the movie off is you kind of, mentioned the protesters, but it's protesters around the world protesting the CIA.
Yeah, right.
That the CIA is too involved.
Because Victor Radek is killing people and claiming, and then putting up a video that shows the CIA is doing it, right? Yeah.
And he's trying to get back at the CIA, but it just seemed like that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. Like, I don't know. It would just seem like a hokey part of the movie. Like it's in the background. It's what's kind of driving the bad guy here. But it just is a bad plot line.
And it was, the other part was confusing too, and I had to go back and look at this. Like, what's the connection between Steve Vale, Aaron Heckenhart, and Victor Radek?
I guess they were friends, and Steve Vale knew his wife and his kids.
No, those were not Steve's kids. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right.
they
Those
were
are
Victor's.
Radek's
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
And then what happened was, so I looked this up because I was confused, that the CIA went to Radek and said, you need to kill a political person versus like a bad guy, and he refused to do it. So then they sent Steve Vale to go in and do it.
But did Steve Vale go in and kill his wife and kids?
No.
Who killed his wife and kids?
The Russians.
Okay.
Because what happened was that Vale made an agreement with Radek to say, I won't kill you, you take off and hide, and that's it. We're done. I'll never have contact with you again. But then the CIA got wind of it and killed the Russians came in and killed his family, and so then Radek blamed the CIA and Vale for it, and Vale apologized at one point, saying, I should have done something else.
What?
But
I think I walked out of the room at that moment.
It was just confusing.
Because for some reason, I think I did miss that part. And I was like, I'm not understanding why his wife and kids got murdered and stuff like that. So I must have missed that part.
And even to your point, I thought originally that was Vale's kids and wife.
Yeah.
I mean, it really wasn't obvious at first because of the way that they were talking
and interacting, and Radek is just walking the beach, and then he comes up, and then they all take pictures together. You think Radek's the family friend?
Howdy, bro. Come here, give me a hug, man.
Right. Yeah.
So it
was not well done, Rennie.
well done.
It's all on you, Rennie. Time for the shame bell.
Haven't used the shame bell in a while.
Shame!
So this was...
We should put Rennie walking down the street nude. Everyone can throw their trowels at him.
So...
Rennie!
This was written by Noah Boyd, who died. He was a Silver Star winner, and Purple Heart won 2 Purple Hearts where he served in Vietnam, but he died in 2011.
And it's his, Noah Boyd is his pen name.
Oh,
Like
Paul Lindsay.
Paul Lindsay is the real author.
Novels as Noah Boyd. Okay, yeah.
So, but I didn't know that he was actually in Vietnam and he was that old and everything. But sorry Noah, they just did not help you out here. 'Cause the book I could see, it's like one of those at the airport where people read it. Like, I need something quick to read on the beach or whatever, and it moves fast. But they just did such a disservice by the way that they did the movie.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you read the book, it's your imagination taking over as far as what everything looks like and how things are going down. But when you see it up on the big screen, it's got to be better than the book usually. So
it's got to be better. You can't translate it literally because like I said, the protest scene was ridiculous. Let's get to the end right
Yeah.
away with. He shows up, Radek says, we need our Bitcoin of $100 million or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He goes into that. Nina Dobrev is supposed to show up, and then all of a sudden, what she figured
The
out.
doors go down.
Yeah.
And you see, like, on the laptop, the time is ticking down, and bloop, his money goes into the guy's thing, right?
I was thinking, aren't you going to stop that?
Yeah. Oh, I kept saying, he's having a conversation while it's going.
90 million.
Yeah.
80 million.
Yeah.
70 million.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when are you going to hit the space bar to
Oh,
stop
and then
this?
when it's like all gone, like Aaron, he's acting all like surprised, like it's done, it's done. You know what I mean? And then
he's like looking under the laptop.
Yeah.
Is there any more?
Yeah. And then what I thought was funny is like, what does he do to explode to get out of the wall?
Yeah. Then he
does
finds out it's booby trap.
it's
room.
booby trap. So he angles it to the wall and he like hides behind a table or something.
Yes, right.
And it's like boom, and he gets out of there. His ears are ringing and everything, but he's okay. And then Radek is just right there in the van. You know what I mean? Like right in the neighborhood in the van. You thought like he was like in another country or whatever. No, he's local. He's
His
in the van.
Wi-Fi was a little short.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe ironically, that might be the most realistic thing in the movie.
Yeah.
He can't be anywhere else because it was like this hole-in-the-wall cafe. And then, there's a big chase. They go through, bam, bam, all these little town things, and then he knocks him over. And then somehow Radek escapes from the knocked-over van, and they find his stuff. And then later he figures out where he is. He's trying to kill that Greek minister.
Yeah.
Costas.
Yes.
And he's one of the TV guys up on the scaffolding.
Oh, that's
up top.
right. That's
Conveniently up on the scaffolding.
Yeah.
And what does he do?
And nobody notices that he's got a camera and an assault rifle like aimed in at
It's like, oh, that's a new camera. I've never seen that. It's like a full gun taped to a camera.
Yeah, it's so crazy. That's crazy.
Like, no one's going to see like this. I don't know what. Did you recognize a gun? I mean, it was some kind of rifle.
It was some
military.
sort of long sniper rifle of some sort.
Taped to a camera.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, can you move over? I need a better angle or whatever. So then he grabs a sledgehammer, pounds
the scaffolding
down, and then slams the guy's hand.
Yeah.
And then, the guy's like, let me, And then he shoots him, which I thought was ridiculous. And he pulls out, here's the Polaroid of all of us. Such a sweet moment.
Yeah, I'm going to go reach into my pocket and show you the Polaroid of all of us.
As you shot me dead right there. I thought that was like, well, why don't you wait a second? He's on the ground. You're literally standing over him with your gun. And
Was that?
Wait a second to see what that was?
Was that the author/director's attempt to humanize him at the end and make us feel sorry? Like, he didn't have to kill him.
No.
He wanted to show him a picture. You know what I mean?
That's it. Just a simple Polaroid. Oh, I should have brought the Polaroid out just for that scene alone.
Yeah.
But, and then I thought it was like the police show up, and then they just like, he's like, no, like,
shoot
what?
him.
It didn't make any sense.
Well, he's standing over him with a gun, right? And so I guess that just shows, like, in the other countries, even,
and maybe that's realistic. I don't know. Maybe that's something.
They see a man with a gun, they just shoot him, right?
Maybe. They saw he shot that guy. I mean, there was people all over the place. There was one of those protests going on.
Yeah.
And then, so, but that even was like, what? They didn't even, like, give him a chance.
Yeah. Like to say, oh, hey, I'm CIA. Oh.
Right. And then he's, of course, shows up in the hospital because, of course, you think he's dead.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be dead.
Shows up in the hospital
They
next
need
day.
to make the Bricklayer 2, you know what I mean? So they can't kill him, so.
Bricklayer 2, the construction site, or something. Masonry, or whatever. But he's in the hospital.
Bricklayer 2, another brick in the wall. So.
All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
Nina Dobrev's there. Of course, she's much more,
She has really big ears.
Oh, yes. I noticed that.
It's like,
she does.
If you have really big ears, why pull your hair back? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So,
I don't know. She's definitely
She's still
fetching.
very, very fetching.
Very fetching.
Just happens to
Bulgarian.
show her big ears.
Her big ears? Yeah. She likes showing them off.
Yeah.
They definitely took advantage of that in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was like, really? I got to show up like this?
All right.
Aaron Eckhart, he was... Well, there was a lot of scenes, actually, where he was, like, changing clothes, but but at the end was that, and actually that was the character development was her. She went from being like straight laced to the end. She realized how screwed up the CIA was and said, "Screw you! I don't want that promotion. I'm going to do it my own way."
Yes.
And then he, of course, in the end, was back to the construction site.
Yes.
Laying his brick.
Well, you know,
he's like,
it did start off where he showed up, and
what a perfect lay.
They said, "Who are you?" And he goes,
It was like,
you know,
Dick Vale. Or
I'm such and such Vale, and they're like, who?
What?
Then he goes, the Bricklayer, and
I
they're like,
know.
oh, okay.
Oh, that explains it. We've been waiting all day for you.
Yeah.
His Highness is the way he delivered that line. It was like, oh, His Highness is here finally.
Yes. I'm Steve Vale. Who's that? I'm the Bricklayer.
I'm the Bricklayer. There was a lot of those moments.
So he goes up. He creates his little brick wall, which then gets knocked over by the bad guys at night. Right?
Yeah, the Russians.
So then, yeah, you're right. He's like, I've got to go and make amends and fix that wall. And he says, you know, I've got to put up this wall.
Form equals function.
Yes.
And puts me at peace, or whatever his line was.
I don't know. All right. Well,
it would have been more. I mean, I just was like, oh my god, this movie was just like such a ridiculous, like pulp writers and the director not getting involved whatsoever. It was almost like he just showed up. I'll do whatever it says on the script.
Right.
Like he was phoning it in. Netflix is like, well, we need something. Just do it.
All right. And this was a C-level movie. I mean, like, because you can still have B movies be good, right? We saw Plane with Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
We saw Cop Shop. Those are good movies. They're B movies, but this was not on the level of those.
Did you see The Gray Man? I didn't see that.
I haven't seen
Maybe
that
we
yet.
should do that.
Oh, you know what? I have seen that.
Oh, so I haven't
A
seen
long
that.
time ago. Yeah, that's
The Ryan Gosling one?
Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, I think, or something like that. Yeah, I've seen that.
I haven't seen that. But, I mean, you know, my son has a very low tolerance for bad movies, and he gave this one up after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to tough it out.
Yeah.
So
It was bad. Well, Cult Lords fans, tell us what you think. Did you agree with us? We gave it D minuses. Barely above an F. So, did you agree with us? What would you have scored this from 1 to 10? Would you recommend this movie? Tell us after you hit subscribe and like our video. Need to get to double-digit likes. And Dane, lay some bricks down.
Okay. I got my ball. Psh, psh. Bing, 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 bing. Going for the hoop. Peace out, everybody.
Oh, you're shooting bricks. Okay.
You should have just yelled brick.